Hello. Today is July 4th, 2014. Happy Independence Day. And I'm going to call this a day to remember Saint Germain. Why are we remembering Saint Germain on Independence Day? Of this country we call the United States of America. It all started when many men all grouped up in a locked room to read and possibly sign the Declaration of Independence, which was mostly written by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson and George Washington shared a friend. They called him the Professor. Now, I know the Professor as Saint Germain. Saint Germain, the Master. Saint Germain, who had reached Master Consciousness and who had, let's say, faked his death and continued living. Saint Germain had been an integral part of writing the Declaration of Independence. And the Constitution. When it's talked about the pursuit of happiness, that comes from Saint Germain. When it's talked about unalienable rights for all individuals, that came from Saint Germain. And when Saint Germain wrote that, he wasn't saying, no, it's unalienable rights for the white men who will have the right to vote and own land, and not for the slaves and not for the women, not for the Native Americans. He intended that for everybody, because he knew that doctrine would live on until everybody gets it. Because we're all one source. When we say we are all created equal, because the spirit of who we are is equal. We all carry the Holy Spirit, the oneness. It's equal. Are we equal in the physical plane? In physical aspects? No, of course not. Some people can lift up a Volkswagen, and some people are lucky to lift up a 5-pound box. Of course we're not equal in the physical plane. But don't let that fool you. Because once somebody reaches Master Consciousness, the Volkswagen may float. Even from a person with a body that appears very frail. So, the ability to be empowered, in that we are equal as well. But more importantly, being equal is one thing, but let me add, more importantly, it's about being treated equally, to be looked upon equally, to see each other as holy expressions of the divine source. Saint Germain added these beautiful words to these documents. The pursuit of happiness. Who would have ever thought that that would be written into a document of law? I have the right to pursue happiness. So what is Saint Germain saying there? He's saying that the real goal of life is to pursue happiness. To realize your equality with everyone, in that you are a source being, an expression of the divine, seeking happiness in this world. Happy Independence Day. Find your independence, not just from King George and the English. Find your independence from the lower ego, the King George within, and his soldiers. Fear, doubt, jealousy, rage, anger, grief, guilt. That's the army of this King George we know as the lower ego. Do you know that the men, the Thomas Jeffersons and Hancock, they were afraid. They were afraid to sign the document once it was drawn up. Why? Well, because this was a colony land of England, separated into, I believe, 13 colonies. There might have been more at that time, I'm not sure. I can look it up. But the idea is the law said that any act against the king would be treason. And the punishment for treason was being quartered, which means you were tied to 4 horses from 4 parts of your body, and the horses were sent off and whipped to go into 4 different directions. Well, that wouldn't feel good. But that was the punishment. That was the fear. So they weren't going to sign the Declaration of Independence until somebody appeared in the room, a room that was securely locked, and gave a speech. Obviously, I don't remember the speech, but I will try to find it and either add it to this discourse or somehow, give it to you. Because the speech is written down. It's what the professor said, the Saint Germain said to them. And he brought about the spirit that was lying hidden in a chamber within each being. And it was fear, doubt, worry, and concern were the spirits that each individual was projecting throughout the room. So others easily picked up upon that. When Saint Germain gave the speech, he banished those dark spirits and brought forth the spirit of hope, of freedom, of equality, of the pursuit of happiness, of not only seeing their own lives, but seeing the lives of their children, their grandchildren, and us today and into our future. That this was the one time to make a stand against tyranny. And when that speech was over, John Hancock and others raced to sign the document. Even though some were sick and frail themselves, they raced up to sign this document. This is a beautiful thing. Now let me add something here. I'm very well aware of a lot of you that have become aware of this government of the United States and what it's done, some of the evils that it's perpetrated, some of the clandestine wars that started around the world, the tortures, the arrest, the detentions, the kidnappings, the false flag attacks, the allies said to be enemies, enemies said to be allies. We are aware of that. You have to realize where this is coming from in the 1700s. At a time where tyranny ruled the entire world. There was no freedom. This was the first stand of freedom and the first hope of freedom. Yes, I agree. Some of the sentences from this Declaration of Independence and many of the pages of the Constitution have literally been torn up, black-lined, if you will. It's only temporary. Only temporary. The rights that have been taken away from us, we will get back and more, with interest. Some of them are unconstitutional, and then some of that's happening right now. Do a research over the last year or so of what the Supreme Court has found to be unconstitutional. It's happening. Even though much of the Supreme Court is in the pockets of politicians. Because of our system. They appoint them, right? But also some of them are old. A few had died in this millennia already. And maybe because they know they're old, that they don't care anymore to take a chance and do the right thing. I don't know. How do we go from Declaration of Independence to the concept of New World Order? I always think of Alex Jones, David Icke, and some other great beings who are sharing knowledge to the world, to Americans in the world, to English. When I think of New World Order, or George Bush Sr. saying the words New World Order. Can it be a New World Order? If you fear it enough, if you worry about it enough, if you're concerned about it enough, if you believe there must be a very strong authority, if you believe that others should be arrested without due process, that's unconstitutional, isn't it? But that's what has occurred. If you believe a CIA or an NSA can murder by their own choice, without recourse, if you believe that any country should be bombed, if you believe that any group of people should be all killed, kill them all. If you believe that our military force is not strong enough, powerful enough, are you worried about Russia? Ukraine? Are you worried about North Korea? Iran? Syria? And these small Middle Eastern and North African countries that have been having so-called revolutions? Most of this is created, folks. What you see as presidents and prime ministers and senators are not the ones making the backroom decisions here. The people that are making the backroom decisions in the United States and the people that are making the backroom decisions in Russia are very good friends. Yeah, they play one against the other. I own two companies. They have different names, and they sell similar products. And you know what? I do the same thing. One company will come out with a product and sell it at a certain price. Then I have the other company knock it off. In other words, come out with maybe a product that I make in a different place. So it's slightly different. I make it cheaper. So then that company competes with the other company, makes it cheaper. If somebody asks, do you guys own the same company? Yeah, we do. We don't lie. But mentally, when they see the different price structures, they gravitate to one or the other. One, I'm going to go pay the higher price because that's going to be better quality. Another person thinks, I'm going to pay the lower price so I can sell it cheaper and make more money. It's not, exactly we're talking about politics. I'm just talking about the ability of somebody being behind the scenes, being able to make decisions for these different governments. They're friends. What you see on the surface, all these meetings and Bilderberg and G7 and meetings that occur that you can hear about from Benjamin Fulford and David Wilcock and the people that share this information. Well, there's other meetings that occur underground, and I mean literally underground. I don't know what they say. I don't ask the angels about this. I don't want to become a reporter of the details of the dark and create a separation of the world. Because what you need to understand, folks, we, the collective soul of humanity, projected these individuals into being. They are a reflection of our fears, our concerns, our worries. It is time to declare independence. Every single individual must declare independence from these negative emotions that project the realities around us. Are you willing to do that? It's not easy. And you can't just decide one day, like somebody quitting alcohol, I quit drinking today, and then go to meetings and say, I am an alcoholic. I quit drinking 4 days ago. Well, two things here. One, I'm going to say, I do not believe in that. I believe in the support group, yes. But don't ever stand up and say, I am anything other than I am beautiful. I am love. I am the light. I am the source. I am intelligent. I am powerful. I am loved. I am grace. I am peace. Because once you say, I am an alcoholic, I am a drug addict, whatever they call it in those meetings, in that case. I am a sex addict. I am this, I am that. You are creating a manifestation of that in your being. You are giving it power. I am is the name of God. And you are the master consciousness of God. When you say I am, whatever comes after that crystallizes or begins a process of materialization or some kind of pattern, karmic pattern. Don't do it, folks. Yeah, go to the groups for support. That's great. Hugs. A lot of suicides happen in those meetings from the people that go to those meetings. And believe me, I'm not putting it down. I've seen so many people be rehabilitated from those meetings. So you got to take it for what it is. There's help there. But I've met the other people. People have struggled. The people that got off the wagon and felt so guilty that they couldn't even come to the meeting to say, I am an alcoholic and I drank yesterday. Ugh, I'm ashamed of myself. So what? This is life. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps back, 1 step forward. It's life. It's not meant to be guilty about. Yesterday I talked about Archangel Metatron, who was Enoch, the great being on earth, which the book of Enoch is about. He was a drinker. He did it because he didn't understand the world yet. He didn't understand the separateness, the pain, the suffering. Saint Germain came to that room to cast out the demons of fear and doubt, separation, authority. And he brought in the great Holy Spirits of hope, of oneness. E pluribus unum. Carpe diem. In many there is one. Seize the moment. They did seize the moment, and they did sign the document. And this is the great experiment of this world, this country. And yes, some of that has been taken away from us. No doubt. People going to the streets. Anonymous group exist. But remember, folks, when you go to the streets or write about this, don't always think it's them and us. They're the bad guys, we're the good guys. You're the good guy, truthfully, 100%, when you obliterate the fear and concerns and worry and all those negative emotions that you project. And again, that's your true declaration of independence within yourself. The declaration of independence from the lower ego. From the lower ego. Then you don't obliterate your lower ego. Well, it has a job to do. It keeps you alive. It keeps you surviving. No, you put it in union with your heart and mind, with your Christ consciousness. And then your being operates from that state of mind, that state of grace, state of peace, and state of love. And you see everybody as one. And you realize these great beings that are in power are not that great. You realize that they are children. Not in physical being, third-dimensional children. They are young souls. They are in fear. And that's why they grasp power. That's why they act out. They're in fear of two things. One is love and light. They're in fear of the light. Two is what they call the sleeping giant, which is you. It's humanity waking up, the sleeping giant. And they are literal experts at keeping the giant asleep. They use sleeping pills, which is a belief system. Actually, many belief systems. Enough to create a web or grid around the whole entire planet of little tiny squares in that graph paper of different belief systems. It's called divide and conquer. They're doing it now again. They're reviving that. Oh, the Russians are bad. They're doing this, they're doing that. I don't agree with their politics in Ukraine. I don't like those people. I like those people. Those are the good people. They do it through sports. I want my team to win. Those are the bad guys. People die in sports, especially in soccer. I think it was in Brazil when somebody scored a goal for the wrong team. I guess he kicked the ball and it went through the goal, scoring a point for the other team. And of course, that he lost. Their team lost. And he was killed. You may not agree with this, but my heroes are the heroes that stood up in Iraq and said, no, I am not going to do this. Punish me, corporal punishment, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to kill again or anymore at all. Because I am here and I see the lies. And for the most part, these people are just people that want to raise their families, buy their groceries, put a roof over their heads, and see a better life for their children, just like anybody else in this entire world. Yes, there's people caught up in the politics, no doubt. No doubt. How many people that are listening to this after 29 minutes would like to sign a Declaration of Independence, a new one, that not only says, I declare independence within my own self, that I am empowered, that I am the I am, and that also says, I declare independence from what was once called the powers of this world, the authority of this world. Who would like to sign this document? Comment. We read them. Comment to this video if you would like to sign this Declaration of Independence. And if a few of you do that, we'll put it out there. Put it out on the website and let people sign it. And we'll pass it around. And you know what else I'll do? I've actually already written a Declaration of Independence like this a couple of years ago. But what I'll do is I'll ask Saint Germain to add to that. And he will. You should like that, folks. It's one of my dreams, is to do this, and that's why I'm bringing it up right now. Not only for people to sign it, to even understand it. So happy Independence Day, beautiful ones. This is Kevin Peter Kelly. I wish you the presence of peace, of grace, the presence of the I Am.